What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers, and welcome to the post-weigh-in show for UFC Vegas 102. We have Gregory Rodrigues going against Jared Cannonier, and it's a good card. We're supposed to have 13 fights. It was supposed to originally be Jared Gordon versus Caio Fernandez. I ended up taping that fight. And then in steps Ruzabov's little brother, ended up taping that fight. Just a complete waste of time. Ruzabov showed up. Apparently he got sick or something, but he didn't look like he was ready to fight to begin with. So that was annoying. Just a waste of time there. But yeah, still 12 fights. And I'm looking forward to this card looking to bounce back. Last week was a disaster. And I'm feeling pretty good about my spots. I think we're going to do very well this week. A couple money line bets I'm looking at. Some props, no totals this week, but some things definitely sticking out. So before we get into, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It is always much appreciated. I'm starting the stream a little bit later today, and that might be the norm going forward. Maybe like at 8 o'clock start time. I'm thinking, and going to be trying to be consistent with that. Just because 4 o'clock, I like doing it, but can't always do it at that time. But I can always do it at this time. So that might be the norm going forward. We'll see. We got Dixon in the building. First one in here saying, Brady, what happened to little Ruzabov? I had multiple farms, mortgages, and kids' college funds on Jared the Flash Gordon. I was literally about to retire, but instead I'm at work washing dishes because he pulled. And yeah, I'm very annoyed. Very annoyed because I couldn't sleep last night. Because I was so excited. For the Jared Gordon props to open up. I was waiting because Jared Gordon was going to just destroy this guy. And the props finally opened up, and man, they were juicy. Jared Gordon inside the distance was plus 115. Jared Gordon by sub was plus 900. Like, Jared Gordon's I know he has no subs, but Jared Gordon's a black belt. This guy, Ruzabov, can't grapple at all. Has been sub twice. And then Jared Gordon 2-3 props were massive numbers. Jared Gordon sub 2-3 were astronomical numbers. It was a generational wealth opportunity, but sadly, little Ruzabov pulled out, and I was gonna have a ton of money. Like, I was considering parlaying Jared Gordon. I was gonna play his 2-3. I was gonna play his sub. I was gonna play his inside the distance. I was going to have a ton of action on Jared Gordon. But yeah, Ruzabov pulled out, which that doesn't shock me. I mean, we all saw his photos circulate around Twitter yesterday. The guy was just not ready to fight. And quite frankly, it was a really stupid signing by the UFC, just a really dumb signing. The lightweight division is the most stacked division, has over 100 fighters signed to the UFC, and you're telling me you can't find one lightweight wanting to step in on short notice against Jared Gordon? Can't find one guy out of the 100 of guys you have on the roster? Like what's Terrence McKinney doing? What is Terrence McKinney doing? But no, they signed Ruzabov, and the fight falls off. So it's all their fault. You literally could have found anybody else. But yep, it sucks. It definitely sucks. But there are some other spots sticking out. Got the High Owl. What's up, Brady? What is up, the High Owl? Let's run some dollars up. Let's get it. UFC picks and balances. I got 10.73 left in the sports book. Want to end Saturday night with $30. That'd be pretty good. 3x. Nothing wrong with that, man. Ollie's saying I went to UFC 312 and met Pereira, Charles, and Sean. There you go. That's good. That's good. The card kind of sucked, in my opinion. A couple fights were very fun, but yeah, I mean, if you got to meet Pereira, Charles, and Sean, three very cool fighters to meet. Feeling good about Hill after the face-off. She's so much bigger. Yeah, we'll talk about the Hill fight. Heard you and Weezy are tired of being tagged in Andrade's sexy pictures. I say we start tagging y'all on Eileen Perez's pictures and videos instead. Yeah, that'd be preferred. Like, instead of tagging me and Jessica Andrade nude photos, preferably let's tag me and Weezy in something better than that. Which, the bar is so low, so really anything would be better than that. Jared Gordon was going to pay for my kids Jordans, dude. I kid you not. Like, the sub 2 was like plus 2,700. The sub 3 was like plus 3,700. The sub in general is plus 900. I think they really screwed up those props, but we'll never know because Ruzabov was not ready and pulled out. Sup, got Shawshanked last card. My butt hurts. Yeah, it was a really bad card. Probably my worst card ever last card. So looking to absolutely bounce back this week here. Gordon keeps getting piped with these pullouts. Yeah, Gordon keeps getting piped in general. A couple bad decisions not go his way. Some pullouts here and there. I feel bad for Jared Gordon. He does not deserve that. But all right, guys, we have a lot to talk about here. Again, like the video, it does go a long, long way. 12 fights. Let's get into it. We have Anshul Jubilee, and not great, not great. I had the Sal killed by sub, which obviously didn't hit because Jubilee died in 20 seconds. But yeah, first fight of the night for UFC Vegas 102, we have Jacqueline Cavalcanti going against Julia Avila, and we have some interesting line movements on this entire card. Really, the parlay boys I think are back in town for this card because a lot of money's coming in on these favorites. And Jacqueline Cavalcanti is one of them here. She is the biggest favorite on the card. She opened up at minus 700. She's currently minus 720. Julia Avila is currently a plus 520 underdog. And what I'll say about Cavalcanti is I think she's extremely overrated. Extremely overrated. But, it's really hard to pick Julia Avila to win a fight in the UFC at this point. I'm actually shocked to see Julia Avila back in action. I thought her last fight against Miesha Tate was going to be the last time we've seen her in the cage just because she looked very uninterested in that fight. It looked like she didn't want to be there, and, it showed in her performance. Completely dominated, one-sided fight and finished in the third round. So, yeah, I'm surprised to see Julia Avila back, but with Cavalcanti, she's going to be the better striker. I doubt Avila's going to be able to take her down. I kind of see Cavalcanti just outpointing her for 3 rounds. But, Cavalcanti has went to a split decision her last 2 fights. Whether you think those were split decisions or not, she still went to a split decision nonetheless. In the Nunes fight, she was able to pick apart Nunes for 3 rounds, but Nunes still landed probably the bigger shots, had the bigger moments, and swaying one of the judges to actually give Nunes, I believe, a 30-27. Yeah, Ron McCarthy gave Nunes a 30-27, which is dumb, but it was a somewhat competitive fight. And then the cornhole fight, I think that was a competitive fight as well. Should it have been a split decision? Probably not, but it just goes to show you that you probably don't want to lay minus 700 on Jacqueline Cavalcanti. So, Cavalcanti's the pick, but in terms of betting this fight, there's absolutely nothing sticking out. The decision prop is the most disgusting decision prop I think I've ever seen in my life. You're looking at minus 225, minus 250 on some books. I'm not touching the finish props just because I really just can't count on Cavalcanti to really finish anybody, to really show any urgency in the UFC. So, and Avila, she's a tough fighter. So I think Cavalcanti by decision, but absolutely nothing sticking out here. We got Justice saying Julia or Andrade. Julia. Who's Julia? Who's Julia? Julia. Oh, Julia Avila? Julia Avila, obviously. I mean, I'm picking anybody other than Andrade. But yeah, shout out to Justin Cash, sending the cash, and sending a $2 dono. Shout out to Justin Cash. Oh, let's see. What are the chances Budka makes it look like the Brunson fight versus Edmond? I think Budka's not great at all. I mean, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if Budka won the fight, but it is Edmund Shabazian, and he's dropped the ball time and time again. But like you said, against a Brunson, against an Imavov, against a Fluffy, and I just don't think Budka's on any other levels or anywhere even close to any other level. So it could happen, but if it happens, Edmund Shabazian should be just extremely ashamed of himself. Dontel Mays is out. They're saying an illness. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but if it was, I wouldn't really care. But let me check. Yeah, I don't think that's true. Cavalcanti by decision, avoiding it for DK. Yep, seeing it the exact same way. The guy with one arm would beat Budka. Oh boy. Anshul Jubilee will step in on short notice against Walker. Oh, I don't think that's a good idea. I hope not. Most of my action is against Mays. Yeah. I think Walker should make this look easy. And speaking of the Walker fight, we got Walter Walker going against Dontel Mays. Yeah, I love Walker this week, but it's a shame I don't have any money on him. He's currently minus 305. He opened up minus 155, so I definitely missed the boat. Money's pouring in on him. At minus 305, it's like that line doesn't make a ton of sense at this point. Dontel Mays is plus 255. I saw Walter around minus 200 earlier in the week, minus 210 earlier in the week. I guess I could have pulled the trigger then. I didn't. And at this point, I just can't find a good way to play him because I think he's a solid parlay piece, but there's really nobody else I'd parlay him with. I think he can win by any method. I think he can win by decision. I think he can win by submission. I think he can win by TKO. So I don't like any props. So yeah, just gonna pass on this one. I'm pretty confident in Walker. I think Mays has atrocious takedown defense, atrocious get up game. Walker looks to be in the best shape of his life as well. So yeah, this should be Walker. This should be Walker all day, but I don't have any action on it. And this line is getting completely steamed to the point where you can't lay minus 305 on Walter Walker. You just can't do it. But yeah, he should win. I don't like Walker much, but Mace shouldn't be in the UFC. Yeah, I mean, Walker's starting to grow on me a little bit. Like if he can, patch up that cardio, maybe improve the striking a tad. Walter, he's only 20. Like Walter, he can be decent in the heavyweight division. He can be decent. And against me, I'm right there with against Mays. It's like he should beat Mays fairly easy. If you parlay the two chick fights to go over, it pays minus 165. Yeah, I don't mind parlaying that Jacqueline Avila over. The Hill Souza over, I don't love that much, and we'll kind of talk about why. But yeah, I would be kind of surprised if the Jacqueline fight finished. I was wondering what happened with Walker. His line got locked for my bet. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said the fight's off. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But if it's on, I think you should make this look pretty easy. Threw him in a parlay with a few finish only lines. Yeah, I was actually going to parlay him up with Jared Gordon at one point. The parlay came out to minus 108. I was going to throw 2 units on it. Loved both of those spots. And then unfortunately, Ruzaboev decided not to show up, which was probably a good idea because he would have got smoked. Either Walker by sub or this fight will get into a sloppy, sweaty decision. I'm leaning towards the sloppy, sweaty decision with Walter getting his hand raised there. Walter OnlyFans curse. Dude. Walter Walker does not have an OnlyFans, man. Well, Dixon, where are you at? Dixon, you would know. Does he have an OnlyFans? Walter Walker if he has an OnlyFans, he doesn't. Come on, guys. Walter Walker does not have an OnlyFans. That'd be terrible. Just be awful. But yeah, should be Walter. No bets on these first 2 fights. Moving on to the next fight, I do have a bet on this next fight here. It's Elijah Smith going against Vince Morales. See where the line is at now. We got Elijah Smith opening up minus 145, went to minus 240. He's currently minus 136. Vince Morales opened up plus 125, went to plus 205, currently plus 116. And I get to hold up my CLV trophy, which I don't know where it's at. Where's my CLV trophy? Oh no, I lost my CLV trophy. But I get to hold it up because I did place my first bet on Vince Morales, 1 unit plus 187. Yeah, I think Morales should be the favorite here. I know people are high on Elijah Smith. I don't see it. I mean, this guy's super young. He's 22. I think he has potential, but right now, I don't know. I just think it's a little bit too soon. I was not impressed with his Contender Series fight in the slightest, and I was actually shocked to see Dana signed him because I think he was like 21 at the time, and he went to a very competitive fight with that Tao guy. Looked good in the first round, and then started slowing down late second, and then in the third round, just the round wasn't even close, all in favor of Tao. This guy Smith, he can wrestle a little bit early on. can strike a little bit early on, but as the fight goes on, he doesn't have great cardio. I don't think he has great durability. Question his heart. We saw him get finished by Reyes Cortez of all people. And like I said, I think he, has potential. He's still very young, but I just think it's too soon here. So, the line came down quite a bit. And I absolutely agree with it. I absolutely agree with the Vince Morales steam. I know it's Vince Morales. Dude's not great, but he has some good wins. Amin Zahabi is a very good win. Amin Zahabi is in like a 5 or 6 fight win streak at this point. Draco Rodrigues, I think that's a good win. And I think Draco Rodrigues is kind of similar to this guy, Elijah Smith, and he made it look quite easy. So, yeah, I like Vince Morales quite a bit. 1 unit on him at plus 187. The lines obviously came down quite a bit. And then I also sprinkled Vince Morales round 2, round 3 at very, very juicy numbers. The reason being, Smith slows down. Getting finished in the 3rd round by Reyes Cortez was not a great look. Slowing down that much in his Contender Series fight was not a great look. And Vince Morales, he does have some power, but what he also does have is an opportunistic submission game, and he showed that submission game off in the regional scene after he got cut the first time. I think he had like 2 or 3 subs outside the UFC, and if Elijah Smith gets tired and shoots in on a bad attempt, his neck could very well get snatched up. Vince Morales is a very good front choke series. So I think Morales is live to finish Smith even. But if this does go the distance, it's going to be close, right? Smith's probably going to win the first just based off of activity. Morales is going to win the third, and then it probably comes down to the second. But like I said, I think Vince Morales is live for a finish at some point in this fight. So yeah, give me Vince Morales going with the veteran here. I think Elijah Smith still has a long way to go. What do you guys like into this fight? How do you feel about Delgado by KO? I might parlay it with Kavalcanti and Estevam. Yeah, I mean, I think Delgado could knock him out. I think Delgado could sub him. I think you're better off just going with the inside the distance. I'm not sure if there's much of a difference in price, but I'm pretty confident in Delgado this week. Estevam's guillotine, we'll talk about that. Do you do fight companion streams, Brady? I have in the past quite a bit on Pub Sports, and I'm going to potentially start doing them in the very near future. Just got to find the time to do it. But yeah, I would like to. I would like to do fight companion streams, live betting, betting during the fights, commentary. Yeah, I would love to do all that. Just got to find time to do so. The problem is I do my big work. I do my big workout during the fights. I like to do my workout during the prelims. Gets the blood flowing, gets the heart rate up. And I usually have my best workouts on fight days. Usually go like 2 hours, 2.5 hours on fight days. So I love doing my workouts during the fights. Actually, like Morales here by sub or decision. I think the subs live, man. Subs live. Vince's UFC career is on the line. It sure is. Hopefully, he comes in here with some urgency because there's been fights where there is no urgency. The Miles Johns fight, 0 urgency. He actually showed some solid urgency in the Lapalus fight, although he was completely outskilled there. But yeah, there's been some fights where just the urgency is not there. But yeah, if he shows up and shows some urgency, I think he's very, very live to win this fight. I know Morales is a vet, but this could be one solid prospect. He could. I just don't see it, at least not yet. You're going out there and wrestling Aaron Tal for 1 round and then gassing out. It just doesn't impress me. The striking looks solid early. The wrestling looks solid early. But as the fight goes on, he just really, really slows down. Then you're going to get a great line on Elijah Smith. I think this line is going to keep closing personally, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, appreciate you, Dirty O, in the chat. Appreciate to see you there. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got Gabriel Bonfim going against Chaos Williams. We got Gabriel Bonfim minus 210 opened up, currently minus 220. Chaos Williams opened up plus 180, currently plus 185. I don't have any action on either of these Bonfim brother fights. I just don't love anything in it. Chaos Williams is probably the most popular dog on the board this week. A lot of people are on him. And I don't know. I can just see this fight playing out so many different ways. Like if Gabriel Bonfim is able to get takedowns here, I have a sneaky suspicion there's going to be a massive difference in the jiu-jitsu. If he's not able to get takedowns, I think Bonfim can still win minutes on the feet, but he's got to worry about the power of Williams. I could see a Bonfim decision. I could see a Williams knockout. I could see a Bonfim by sub. I liked the over, but it could go under. It's just a fight I want to stay away from. I'm picking Bonfim to win the fight. I'm actually picking him to win by decision. Doing the better work on the feet, mixing in the occasional takedown, but I just don't have a ton of confidence in Bonfim. I don't have a ton of confidence in my read, but the pick for me is Bonfim. But yeah, I know a lot of people on Chaos. Couldn't quite get there myself, but if I was to bet Chaos, it might be like a knockout prop or something. But yeah, easy pass for me. Carl saying this fight goes the distance as a parlay piece. The Bonfim Williams fight. The Bonfim Williams fight. I mean, I think it does go the distance, but you don't really need a parlay. You're getting good plus money, plus 160. With that said, though, it's going to be an absolute sweat. Both these guys throw and hit very hard, and Bonfim is a very opportunistic submission artist. So, although I think it goes the distance, I'm not really running to the window to play it. Typology like Smith 80%, and there's no surprise with that. People typically pick the hyped newcomer guy, so I get that. Bonfim by sub, yep, it's live. It's very live. If he's able to get the fight down to the ground, we just haven't seen Chaos grapple. Saw it a little bit in the Pereira fight, and that's about it. Like, for all we know, he's awful on the ground. We just don't know. But what I do know is Bonfim is a very, very opportunistic submission artist. So I could see a sub, I could see a decision. Just gonna be staying away from this one. I like the younger Bonfim this weekend a lot. I have a good feeling he wins 30-27. I'm kind of leaning the same way. Both these Bonfim lines are kind of blown out, though. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. We have Rafael Estevam going against Jesus Aguilar. We have, and one last. All double chance. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. That's not a bad look. I think that's two of their most likely outcomes, but I'm actually picking a Bonfim decision. But that's not bad. Anyway, we got Rafael Estevam going against Jesus Aguilar. I do have some action here on this one. Estevam, I wanted to see him on the scale because this is a guy that has missed weight in the past and looked very bad in the past, and that showed in the Charles Johnson fight where he completely gassed out in that third round, right? But he showed up today. He looked good. He made weight, and yeah, that's great. Now he's a minus 460 favorite, though. Open at minus 200, currently minus 460. A lot of these lines are getting steamed and blown out. Aguilar open up plus 170. He's currently plus 360. So I'm a really big fan of both these guys, but especially Rafael Estevam. I think this guy's very good. Doesn't have much, striking on the feet, but what he does is he'll take you down. He's nasty on top. He's mean. He's gonna throw a ton of ground and pound, vicious ground and pound. He's a BJJ black belt, a go for submissions. Rafael Estevam is no joke on the mat. Wrestling's very good, and in this matchup, it's like Jesus Aguilar has, I think, like a 30% takedown defense. Like, it's not good. 36. And the reason being is Jesus Aguilar does not mind being off of his back. So Estevam should have no problem whatsoever taking this fight down to the ground. Takedowns will come free. With that said, though, he's got to watch his neck. Aguilar, he's really good at one thing and one thing only, and that is the guillotine. And he's really good at that. I think he has 6 or 7 guillotine wins on his record, and Estevam has been put in some bad spots in the past. Estevam has slowed down in the past, and Aguilar's a guy that he can sub you really in any round. He has a couple third-round submissions, got one in the Contender Series. If he jumps that gilly, there's a good chance he does get it. Like, even against Tatsuro Taira, jumped the gilly, and it was very close to finishing there, and Taira was in that guillotine for a long time. So, yeah, I would not be laying, personally, I would not be laying like minus 460 on Estevam. I get why he's a favorite. I get why he's a big favorite, but Aguilar has a path, and that path is the guillotine. With that said, though, there is a little sprinkle that I like this week, and that is Aguilar by submission. It's plus 1,200, which really surprises me because Aguilar's not knocking anybody out ever unless he's going against Shannon Ross. Aguilar's not winning a decision here off his back. So Aguilar by submission, I think that's his money line. Plus 1,200 doesn't make a ton of sense to me, so I sprinkled that for a quarter unit. And then I also really like the fight ends by submission at plus 170 as well, just because Aguilar, although offensively with his jiu-jitsu, he's very dangerous. He's very offensive. Defensively, he makes a lot of mistakes. He leaves a lot of openings. He's submission over position. He'll lose position. And Estevam's a black belt in his own right. And I could see Estevam getting a sub. And that's actually what I'm picking, an Estevam submission. So I like the fight ends by submission. I like Aguilar submission sprinkle. I think these guys are going to grapple. And I think somebody gets tapped out here. So those are the spots I'm attacking for this fight. The Bonfim Bros win parlay returns plus 107. Oh, I think it hits, but I know a ton of people on going against them. I know a ton of people on Chaos, and I know a lot of people on Sadykhov as well. Yeah, he has a great guillotine. A great guillotine. 100%. Who started the Maze out rumor? Some dude earlier. I don't think he's out, but he might as well be. Dude, just sometimes Maze shows up and just doesn't look like he wants to be there. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got Angela Hill going against Ketlin Souza. Very interesting fight here. We have a kind of a pick'em-ish fight. Angela Hill opened at minus 300, currently minus 103. Ketlin Souza opened at plus 250, currently minus 117. And I don't have a bet on Angela Hill yet, but I will. I'm just waiting for it to get the plus money. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm being patient because I do think it's going to get the plus money very shortly. But yeah, I like Hill, and I like Hill quite a bit. The reason being is, nobody wanted to go out there and bet Ketlin Souza at like plus 400 against chinny, overrated, unproven Yasmin Haregi. And she cashed as a big dog, and I get that, but now she's a pick'em against Angela Hill. I just don't understand. I think Hill's better in every single aspect of MMA. I think she's the better striker, the better minute winner. Souza has more power, but Angela Hill in 31 fights has never been knocked out. Angela Hill, I think, has a significant wrestling and grappling advantage. I think she has a significant cardio advantage. She's fought the much better competition. She's much more experienced. I give Angela Hill really every single advantage in the book outside of power, right? Is that power going to be enough? We'll have to see. But I think she'll have to be the first one to knock out Angela Hill to win this fight. So I like Hill. I'm going to have a bet on her, but I'm waiting for plus money. And I also wouldn't be surprised if Angela Hill finished Ketlin Souza. I think Souza might have a little bit of quit in her. I've seen her broken before. I've seen her finish by leg kicks. I've seen her finished into the body. She's been submitted 2 times. She's been finished in all 4 of her losses. Her cardio is not great. I think Angela Hill's live to actually go out there and get another finish like she did in the Panero fight. So I like Hill. I will be betting on her. Probably 1.5 units around plus money once it becomes plus money. And then I also like the Hill 2-3 props at big numbers as well. I think she can be the 5th person to finish Ketlin Souza. So I know a lot of people like Souza this week. And yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. She's a moment winner, and a moment winner at strawweight. I don't know. I think this should be high. I know Hill's 40 years old, but I think she's fine here. Estevam under 2.5 is minus 105 player. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Angela Hill, OnlyFans fade. She recently made an account and it's only $3 a month. That's not a bad deal there. Can't wait for her to post some content. The OnlyFans fighters have been doing well, though. I wish Dix was in here for the stats to back it up. If you have an OnlyFans, you've been doing well at this point. I'm terrified betting against the lesbian. We know how lesbians are in MMA. Well, she beat a lesbian in Denise Gomes, and she made her look quite silly. Veteran lesson there. So she has beaten a lesbian before, and I think she could potentially do it here again. What's up, Stacks? Good to see you. $3 a month. That's right. Yeah, $3 a month is it's right in my budget as well. That's something I might have to take a look into. Much better than subscribing to Jessica Andrade's OnlyFans. I'll tell you that. But yeah, $3 a month, I can get behind that. So yeah, taking Hill. I'm just waiting for it to get to plus money. I mean, it should happen soon. I've been waiting all week. It's coming. Plus money on Angie Hills is coming. Minus 102. That's I want plus money. Let's see. She's plus 105 on Circa. I don't have Circa though. I don't have Circa. Yeah, minus 102 best price. Give me plus money on it, and I'll jump in. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. We got Jose Delgado going against Connor Matthews. We got Delgado as a very big favorite. What is he now? Yeah. Oh, geez. Open up minus 270, currently minus 500. Connor Matthews opened up plus 230, currently plus 375. So when I did my show with Uncle Weezy on Sunday, Stat Diggers, Jose Delgado was minus 230, which just goes to show you how much some of these lines have been blown out this past week. And now he's minus 500, which, yeah, I mean, Delgado should make this look quite easy. I just don't think Connor Matthews is a UFC caliber fighter. I think his level of competition outside the Contender Series is abysmal. You know, if you're fighting guys like Jay Ellis, you know, it's not a great look. I'm just not sure what Connor Matthews is good at outside of being tough. Like, he can wrestle lower level guys, he can grapple. You know, Jay Ellis, you know, his striking is okay, but he's super hittable. Like, I just think Delgado is going to really put it on him, and I think he's going to really hurt Matthews here. So I like Delgado minus 500 at this point. It's, you know, that's getting out of hand. It's like, this guy is a Contender Series guy making his debut. We've seen that go wrong time and time again, but he really shouldn't lose to Connor Matthews. So I put 1.5 units on Jose Delgado to win inside the distance at plus 100. I think he goes out there and could be knockout, could be sub. I mean, if you're getting knocked out by Dennis Bazookia, I think this guy Delgado can knock you out as well. Delgado, 100% finish rate. Mike Matthews has been finished, like I said, by Bazookia, and even like the Francis Marshall fight. Like, that fight probably could have been stopped. Like, Mark Smith was telling Matthews to fight back. That's how much of an ass whooping it was. So I think Delgado is going to whoop this ass, and he's gonna get a finish here. So I like that inside the distance for Delgado. We got my guy Luke in the building. What's up, Luke? Good to see you. You're telling me you're not high on Jay Ellis. I'm not, man. You know, the guy he's on a rough skid, on a very very rough skid. So no, I'm not that high on Jay Ellis, and quite frankly, Jay Ellis needs to get some help. I hope he's not fighting still, but we'll see. Delgado by knockout all day. That's where I'm leaning. Delgado is gold, should win by KO. The only thing I don't like about Delgado is he's very defensively irresponsible, but, you know, so is Connor Matthews, and Delgado does have a chin to kind of back it up. So that's the one thing I don't mind, that I don't like, is that striking defense, and it might bite him in the butt, you know, later down his career. But I think here he'll be fine. Delgado by KO, leaning that way as well. Get some help. Yeah, get some help. Jay Ellis, for the love of God, get some help. You know, it's really time to hang him up. And quite frankly, it's been time to hang him up for a long time. Let's see if this guy's still fighting. You know, does this guy have a family? Like, you would think your family be like, stop it. What are you doing? He hasn't fought in a while. His last MMA fight was June of 2024. So it looks like Jay Ellis might have hung him up, which is absolutely for the best. So shout out to Jay Ellis. Under 1.5 plus 150. Yeah, it could happen early. Could happen late. The only thing that would worry about the under is I think Delgado is going to beat the brakes off of him, but Matthews is so tough that maybe he can hang in there for a little bit. And I think it all comes down to the referee. Like, if Herzog's in there, you know, this fight is probably going over. But if it's like a Tyone probably stops it, because Delgado is going to really put it on him from the jump. Moving on to the next fight, we have Rodolfo Vieira going against Andre Petroski. We have Rodolfo Vieira opened up minus 150, currently minus 273. Andre Petroski opened up plus 130, currently plus 233. And yeah, when I first looked into this fight, I thought, you know, yeah, I mean, should be Vieira, but, you know, it's hard to trust the guy. But after looking into it a little bit more, I think it's a pretty good matchup for him, and a really rough matchup for Petroski. And Petroski actually went on record this week and said that he's been calling for this fight. He's going to submit Rodolfo Vieira. And yeah, I mean, that would piss me off, because I had Petroski to finish Dylan Budka, and I had Petroski to finish Josh Fremd as well, and he couldn't finish them. So I doubt he's finishing Vieira. If Petroski's winning this fight, it's probably by decision. But the way I'm seeing this fight play out is Petroski probably the better wrestler, but in terms of the BJJ, it's it's heavily in favor of Rodolfo Vieira. And, Petroski's a black belt, but there are levels to black belts. Rodolfo is the black belt hunter for a reason. If this fight hits the ground, I think that Petroski's in serious trouble, especially if Vieira gets on top. If Vieira gets on top, I think the fight could be over very shortly after. And then when it comes to the striking, it's like, I don't know. It's probably competitive. It's not going to be that exciting, but Vieira's striking, I think, is a lot better than people think. And Vieira's durability is like a lot better than Petroski's. We've seen Petroski get wobbled by a Jacob Malkoun jab. We've seen him get knocked out by Jacob Malkoun's hip. We've seen him get starched in 60 seconds against Michel Pereira. So it wouldn't even shock me if Vieira dropped this guy and hurt him on the feet either. So I think it's a great spot for Vieira. It is always hard to trust him. I still have PTSD from the Fluffy fight, but that's Fluffy Hernandez, right? This guy Petroski's not Fluffy Hernandez. So I like Vieira, and I bet him inside the distance, plus 108 for 1.5 units. I think, yeah, he's 100% finish rate. Petroski's been finished in all of his losses. I think, Petroski's never been submitted, but I think that probably changes here, and maybe, or if not, he can knock out Petroski. So I like that. Vieira, I like him inside the distance at plus money. You're getting a 100% finish rate against the guy that's been finished 100% of his losses. So I like Vieira inside the distance here. Petroski sucks. I don't think he sucks, but what does suck is not being able to finish Dylan Budka. That sucks. Not being able to finish Josh Friend, that sucks. Taking 3 rounds to finish Michael Gilmore and Yazong Hu, that sucks. So I don't think Petroski sucks, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a tough matchup for him. I bought my ex-wife flowers today. She's single. So I hope to catch her on a vulnerable day and maybe score a little, but no luck. Oh, boy. The black belt hunter by submission. That's what I'm picking. That's what I'm picking. Dude will submit another black belt. I think so, too. I think he gets on top, gets the head and arm choke in, and that's a wrap. And that's a wrap. So... yeah, Vieira by arm triangle plus 500 would make it 3-4. Yeah, his arm triangle is one of the best in the game. Like if he locks that up, you're not getting out of it. So it's plus 500. That's what I'm picking. I'm picking the arm triangle. Bro is down bad. Hey, it happens, man. It happened. He did a nice gesture. Got his ex-wife flowers. I mean, that's nice. Evan's a nice dude. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. It's kind of where I'm leading but we'll talk about the main event very shortly. All right, moving on to the next fight. We got Bonfim, Sadykhov. Oh, where is this line at now? So yeah, Bonfim minus 235, Sadykhov plus 200. Like I said, I don't have any action on either of the Bonfim fights. In this fight, I think Bonfim wins it. I think he wins it by decision. I just think he's simply the better fighter. He's going to be the minute winner. We've seen Sadykhov lose minutes to guys like Evan Elder on the feet. Not a great look. The Slava fight wasn't a great look. I think Bonfim has really solid striking, more volume, probably just as much power, and I think Bonfim kind of outpoints him en route to a decision. And yeah, Bonfim by decision's my pick, but I'm not laying minus 235 on the guy. Sadykhov's a dangerous fighter. Sadykhov's a dog. He's going to be there the entire time. But I think Bonfim takes it and takes it by decision. I don't think he finishes Sadykhov. Sadykhov's durable. So Bonfim by decision is my pick, but nothing really sticking out from a betting perspective. You're getting great CLV on these inside the distance bets. Wow. So for the Delgado inside the distance bet, I got it at plus 100. It's still minus 105. For Vieira inside the distance, I got plus 108. I think it's minus 105 now. And then I did get some solid CLV, I think, on the Edmund. We'll talk about the Edmund fight. But I kind of expected to get more CLV, to be honest. All right, so yeah, nothing on the Bonfim fight. Moving on to the Edmund Shabazian Dylan Budka fight. And yeah, I do have a bet here. And it's a confident bet. But at the same time, you don't want to be too confident in Edmund Shabazian. But I have 2 units on Edmund Shabazian to win the fight inside the distance at minus 125. I think that line's off. This guy Edmund's a minus 400 favorite. When he's winning fights, he's winning it in round 1, maybe round 2, like he did in the Dolce fight. But the reason I took the inside the distance, because typically with Edmund, I'd take Edmund round 1, Edmund round 2. But honestly, it wouldn't shock me if Edmund got a finish in round 2 or round 3 here. And it wouldn't shock me if Edmund actually showed the better cardio for the first time in his entire career. Because Dylan Budka, we saw him absolutely completely gas out in his last fight against Almeida. It was honestly one of the worst displays of cardio I've seen since Rodolfo Vieira versus Fluffy Hernandez. So, and I think Budka is going to really struggle to take down Edmund early on. Edmund's going to be very physically strong. He has good takedown defense. And it's this is a fight where Edmund should not lose this fight. If Edmund Shabazian loses to Dylan Budka, it's time to hang him up. I don't care if he's 27 years old. Pull a Jimmy Crute, take your gloves off, put him down, and leave the building. Because if you're losing to Dylan Budka, it's time to retire. I was looking through Edmund's record, and it's who's beating Edmund Shabazian? Fluffy Hernandez. No shame in that. Fluffy probably fights for a title in the near future. Nazardine Imavov. No shame in that. Imavov probably fights for a title in the very near future. The Gerald Meerschaert loss, you don't love to see that. You don't love to see it. But to be fair, that fight could have been stopped. Edmund was beating the brakes off of Meerschaert, almost finished him, gassed out trying to do so. Who else did it? Oh, Derek Brunson, right? He lost to Derek Brunson when Derek Brunson was good. So yeah, Edmund's only losing to very good guys. And I just don't think Dylan Budka falls into that category whatsoever. So yeah, this should be Edmund by finish. Could be knockout, could be sub. I lean knockout just because there's an astronomical difference in the striking, but I could see a club and sub. I can see, Budka shooting in and Edmund snatching up a neck. I think Edmund sub is definitely on the table, but I just played 2 units on the inside the distance at minus 125. I love that line, but the reason I didn't go any higher on it is because it's Edmund Shabazian. It's Edmund Shabazian, and this guy's he's dropped the ball time and time again, but against good fighters. So give me Edmund to finish this guy. What was your thoughts on Mays? I thought he might be a good dog. Oh, jeez. I'm not a big fan of Dontel Mays. I think it's a rough matchup for him, but I'm not laying minus 300 on Walter Walker. I'm passing on the fight. It's Valentine's Day. Can you say Hot Boy is the best? My wife would love it. All right. Hot Boy is the best. There you go. Edmund sub could be sneaky. Budka sticks his head deep in on shots. I'm actually picking Edmund by sub, so I probably should be betting it, huh? What is Edmund by sub? I didn't think it was a great line though. I was thinking it might get a good line since the KO is the most likely, obviously. Edmund by sub is plus 600. Edmund by first round sub plus 1200. Second round sub plus 1900. Yeah, I might just stick with my inside the distance, but I think this could be on the table. I think a sub could very well be on the table. If Edmund loses, he's going to... Yeah, if he loses, he probably should never fight again. Probably should never fight again. Yeah, Edmund trains at Extreme Couture as far as I'm concerned, unless he changed camps. Appreciate it, Dirty. Appreciate it. Jeez, yeah, I think you can still get it minus 125 on DK right now. Edmund's only sub was 5 years ago. Rear naked choke against Jack Marshman, which shouldn't count. It just shouldn't count. So yeah, looking at Edmund here, I wanted to go heavier on the inside the distance, but I think it's responsible to not just to not. But he should make it look so easy. Moving on to the next fight. It is Youssef Zalal going against Kavalcanti. Big favorite here. Zalal open up minus 225, currently minus 525. Kavalcanti opening up plus 190, currently plus 400. And yeah, I don't know what to do with this fight. And I think I'm probably going to stay away. But there are a couple spots sticking out. first and foremost, they opened up the submission prop for Zalal at plus 600, and I was like, yeah, that's a good bet, plus 600, but it got obliterated. So that plus 600 submission prop is now plus 235, which is just complete trash. They opened up, for some reason, Zalal finish only at like minus 115. Thought that was a great bet, but now that is now minus like 3 something. And then they also opened up Kavalcanti plus 3.5 at plus 170. That's now plus 145. I think that's a good bet as well. So there was some value sticking out earlier in the week, but these lines got completely wrecked. The Zalal sub wrecked, Kavalcanti plus 3.5 wrecked, and then the Zalal finish only wrecked. So at this point, I'm probably staying away. But yeah, I don't mind that Zalal or the Cater plus 3.5 at this point. The concern would be like if Zalal does get this fight down to the ground, he could submit Cater. So probably going to stay away. The pick is Zalal, but if he's not able to get the grappling going, it's going to look a lot closer than the line does indicate. But I don't really like anything in this fight. Don't really love anything. The dogs will hit. I hope so. I have a couple dogs myself this week. I'm liking. Gonna have 2 underdog bets. Just bet both the KO and the sub, and you get better odds if you bet by finish. Yeah, depending on some books, you can for sure. Depending on some books. Sometimes I think bet online is solid if you bet early, late not so much. It's good to get weigh-in info though. Yeah, bet online. They dropped some good lines earlier this week. Like Zalal sub plus 600 they dropped. I know a lot of people that got in on that. All right. Main event time. Before we get into, if you guys can smash the like button for me, going live at a different time than usual, but this might be the new norm for me going forward. 8 o'clock Eastern time, I'm thinking, on Fridays. All right. Gregory Rodrigues going against Jared Cannonier. And let's see where we have these odds now. Rodrigues open up minus 175, currently minus 245. Cannonier open up plus 150, currently plus 210. Yeah, that's wide. That's very wide there. I couldn't lay this price tag on Gregory Rodrigues just due to the fact that this guy has been knocked out by much less hitters than Jared Cannonier. But at the same time, I think it's a big career trajectory fight where you're looking at Cannonier, and this guy took a ton of damage in the Imavov fight, early stoppage or not. This guy was doing the stanky leg, took a ton of damage in the Bahio fight, and I didn't like how that fight played out. Really, I like the fact that he was able to keep it standing, and to be honest, Bahio didn't really try, but Bahio was getting better at the striking exchanges in most rounds. I think it was the 4th or 5th round where Kaio hurt him bad. Like the fight was this close to being stopped. That wasn't a great look, and that fight wasn't even that long ago at this point. So Cannonier, I mean, you're bound to slow down at some point. He's turning 41 in the very near future, and I think he's starting to finally show it here. So I'm going to pick Rodrigues, but I just can't lay minus 245 on somebody that got knocked out by Jordan Williams. I just can't do it. What I do like here is some type of violence. I think the fight ends by KO is sneaky, just due to the fact that Rodrigues, this guy is a legit black belt. I love burning money on Rodrigues sub props, especially against Dennis Tuolumne. I don't think I've ever been so confident in a sub prop when Rodrigues fought Dennis Tuolumne. Rodrigues takes him down, and instead of subbing him, just smashes his face in. I think one elbow was all it took. So, yeah, I've lost my fair share of money on Rodrigues by sub. I doubt he's ever going to sub anybody in the UFC, and I doubt it's here against Cannonier, who does have good takedown defense. So I think somebody's getting knocked out. Is it going to be Rodrigues, who's been knocked out 3 times? Or is it going to be Cannonier, who's been knocked out a couple times as well? But also, I just see a decline in that durability. So I think fight ends by knockout solid. And then like the under like a 2.5, under 3.5. I think all those are solid. I think it's gonna be a violent fight. I think Rodrigues is gonna push the pace, and I think a finishing opportunity is going to kind of open up. So yeah, give me violence in here. Can't lay this price tag on Gregory Rodrigues. We got Narco in the building. A Narco show is kicking off in about 5 minutes. I'll be heading off of here and going to watch him. So shout out to Narco Cop. Guys, go check him out after this show. I'm going to be wrapping up here very shortly. Why did the Gordon fight get scrapped? Ruzaboev, I don't know. Ruzaboev got sick, I guess, but I don't know. It's frustrating. Yeah, RoboCop did look huge, man. He looked like a lot bigger than Cannonier. It's a great showtime, in my opinion. You got to watch the weigh-ins, deal with the late changes. Yeah, I don't mind it. All right. What else we got? Rodrigues early stop it. It could be in any round, I think. If I had to pick a round, I think I'm picking like maybe round 2. I don't know. It could be in any round. It could be early, it could be late. I don't know. But I do think somebody's getting stopped here. So, yeah, that's about all I got for this week. So, quick recap. Main event, I'm liking like the fight ends by knockout. Maybe like an under. Nothing on the Zalal Kattar fight. If anything, Kattar plus 3.5. But even that, I don't feel great about. I think Edmund should be ashamed of himself if he doesn't finish Budka. Like Edmund inside the distance. Nothing on either Bonfim fight. I like Vieira. I think Vieira subs Petroski, but could also knock him out. I think the inside the distance at plus money solid. Same thing with Delgado. I could see a knockout, a sub. I think inside the distance at plus money, plus 100 solid. I like Angela Hill. I think Estevam Aguilar ends by sub, and a sprinkle on Aguilar sub makes sense. I like Vince Morales, but the line has moved a mile. But I think Morales wins the fight. I love Walter Walker, but it's just hard to get to minus 300 at this point. So not going to have anything on the Walker fight, but I think Walker should make this look quite easy. I just think he can win by knockout, sub, or decision is my problem. And then nothing on the Kavalcanti fight. So yeah, that's about all I got. The betting breakdown video will be out later this evening. Going to get a little workout in and then record that. So maybe like an hour, 2 hours until that's up there. And then tomorrow we're going to be going live at 2 o'clock Eastern time for some best bet. Why? Rob, you commented this on one of my videos today. You're like, are they fighting now? And then you just, no, they're not fighting. They fight tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern time. 4 o'clock Eastern time. Under 2.5 minus 125. That seems reasonable. Yeah. I think it seems reasonable. All right, guys. That's about all I got. Gonna head out here. Do me a favor, like on your way out, subscribe on your way out, and then tune in for the rest of the content. Like I said, tonight, betting breakdown video, tomorrow, best bet. And then Sunday, we have Stat Diggers with Uncle Weezy, and we're going to be breaking down the UFC Seattle card that's lost like all the fights. So that should be interesting. So best of luck. Enjoy the fights, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.